With the latest Assassin's Creed game releasing in the near future, I find this as a perfect time to talk about Afro Samurai. As you may know, Assassin's Creed Shadows is releasing soon, and has already become one of the most controversial games. It is obviously getting a lot of hate before it even releases. When you try to look up what's the thing that's making it so controversial, many people on Reddit simply say it's because the main character is black. So it seems people are saying the game is getting hate simply because it has a black samurai as the main character. It does bring up an interesting topic, which is the portrayal of black samurais within TV series and video games. When I think of black samurais, I immediately think of Afro Samurai, which was a beloved anime series that many people liked. It wasn't seen as the greatest thing in the world, but many people enjoyed watching it. So why didn't that anime series get any hate for having a black samurai as the main character? The thing about Afro Samurai was that it was just simply fiction. It wasn't historical fiction such as Assassin's Creed Shadows. The main character Afro is a complete fictional character. He does not exist as a real person. His character was inspired by Yasuke, but Afro himself is still completely fictional. Whereas Yasuke is a historical figure that was portrayed as a samurai in the game, when really, he was just a retainer in real life. It's like they're changing history in order to make it seem like a more important role. People see this as forced diversity. You could have actually had a real Japanese samurai be introduced for the Assassin's Creed franchise. Instead, you introduce a retainer that is shown as a samurai in the game, just for the sake of diversity. This is simply the argument I see being said on the internet often. You might say, why does it matter if it's not 100% historically accurate? You may not care, but other people do, and they make up a large percentage of gamers. It's obviously very difficult to tell Japanese gamers they should just accept all of this, and not care so much if it isn't historically accurate. That would be weird because it is their country's history after all, they're trying to tell a story about. Some people will say Yasuke was portrayed as a samurai in other media. Most people such as myself have never seen those TV series. Everyone, though, has at least heard of the Assassin's Creed video game franchise. The only media that I know of that has Yasuke as a samurai is this video game and the anime series. The Yasuke anime series was so over the top and sci-fi to a point where not many people really care about being historically accurate. When you watch a movie by Abraham Lincoln hunting down vampires, do you really care about being historically accurate? Of course not. The Assassin's Creed Shadows video game, though, is not trying to be very supernatural. You aren't going to see a bunch of werewolves or vampires in the game. It's trying to accurately portray historical events, so people expect some realism to it. When you have a completely fictional character not based on any historical figure, such as the main character Afro, you have more freedom to do what you want with the character. People don't like seeing things being changed for the sake of diversity. Everyone was fine with Afro being a cool samurai because he didn't have any previous history that said otherwise. Assassin's Creed Shadows actually got backlash from Japan, which was very shocking, considering Japan does not like to cause conflict, or even usually care about woke culture. But in this situation, Japanese people didn't like that Western country was trying to change the history of Japan just for the sake of diversity. Ubisoft is the company that made the Assassin's Creed franchise, and they're certainly not from Japan. Afro Samurai, though, was a character made by a Japanese person that was influenced by American media. So of course, nobody's going to be really offended here. Another major reason why Afro Samurai wasn't controversial was because the show was made during a time when nobody really cared that much about the main character's race or gender. You certainly can't say that now. If you're from America, you definitely understand what I'm talking about. There has been a major effort to include a lot of diversity, where you see many women, people of different races, and LGBTQ characters within video games and TV series and movies. People have gotten tired of this to a point where whenever there's a main character that's a woman or a main character that isn't white, people immediately say, woke. If this game was made 20 years ago, I don't think many Americans would have cared. Maybe people from Japan would have still been upset, but I don't think Americans would have cared that much 20 years ago. Overall, it's not as simple as people from America and Japan hating black samurais because they're racist. There are a lot of other factors you have to look at.